Yep. Hello all. I'm honored to introduce our dynamic speaker, Dr. Suresh Kumar sir, who is one of the leading life coach in Andhra Pradesh in Telangana states. He is highly skilled in nutrition and wellness, also enrolled in nutrition counselings and even consulting. He has utmost care on education, environment, health, sustainability, and so on. He played many lead roles such as faculty in pathology as well as an nutrition consultant and chief nutrition officer, and many roles such as lead nutritionist and head of the department of nutritional endocrinology, and he's a founder of Dr. Genie Clinics, uh, which is with advanced techniques and with advanced aids which suggests a client or a patient with a proper nutrition and proper diet plans and other things. With his experience, he, he primarily reached for the healthcare management, nutrition education, health education, sports nutrition, wellness coaching, and now he came up with a special program on role of nutrition in busy teenage. Guys, sorry, like I want like just question yourself, or you're following a certain diet plan. If so, if you be like this, what are the consequences you're going to face? And the other doubts are going to cleared by our Dr. Suresh Kumar sir with his session. So, with no late, I want to hand over this mic to Suresh sir to address our gathering.
Thank you so much, Raghav. Am I audible? Okay, thank you. A very good evening to all. First of all, I don't know I am doing so many things. I mean, when you listed out some of the things I am not doing, also attributed to me, but it feels nice. So makes me aspire for achieving those things. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. At the outset, I would like to thank all the organizers at Xeon Talks. Okay, I mean, you introduced me, but I'm not sure where you guys are from. What do you do? Which background? If you can give me some context about your organization and this particular forum, so that will help me uh,
Yeah,
design my session. Yeah,
yeah, sir. If you want to introduce about our organization, first, if you
right.
don't mind, I want to introduce with my team because those are
Yes.
the backbone for the organization.
Okay.
First of all, Navya Morampudi, she's our Chief Visionary Officer. And Rupa, she's an advisor for Xeon Talks. And other like Shruti, she's a co-chair. And other people, she's an in-charge co-chair. And other teammates who are here and assembled for the gathering. This is our team, sir, and I should be thankful for them basically. So I started with my team first. And then
Okay.
next, Xeon Talks is an Xeon Talks is a talks platform which came up with an idea to provide a proper innovational aid for the students, like helping them or guiding them to choose their path either as a job seeker or a job giver.
Okay.
In that scope, we started this platform to guide them, to motivate them, and to encourage them towards their passion rather than the paycheck.
Okay.
That's the thing, sir.
Okay. That's wonderful. Wonderful to hear. And where are you guys based at? Which college are you from?
Yeah,
And
I am from KLU, sir, KL University, Vijayawada.
Mhm.
And my partner and the Chief Visionary Officer, Navya Morampudi, she's from Bhimvaram Vishnu Engineering College for Women.
Okay.
And other guys are from different colleges and different streams and different branches.
Okay. Okay. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I thought this is being organized by only one college.
Not at all, sir.
Excellent. I mean, I've been to Vishnu. I come from Tanuku. My native place is Tanuku, and I worked in Guntur as well. So I know these
Nice.
places.
Yeah, sir.
And my MSET coaching is in Vijayawada. So I think world is so small. Okay, so a very good evening and warm welcome to all of you guys, those who are participating in today evening session. Um, Before I start up, when Rupa contacted me on LinkedIn and asked for a session, I said, okay, I'll do that. I mean, I love teaching and I love sharing whatever knowledge I'm able to gather and practicing over years. So the topic, the name of the topic itself intrigued me. So what he asked me for is nutrition for busy teenagers. I mean, I understand nutrition and I understand teenage, but where is this busy coming from? So if one or two people can define what busy means to you and what you are expecting from this session, and because being a public speaker and a nutritionist and guest faculty to so many organizations, I have a flow. I mean, I keep teaching. But unless and otherwise, I know what exactly are you looking for. It would be one-way traffic. So I don't like that. I want it to be interactive. So what exactly do you mean by busy and what makes you busy? And why do you think you people are busy?
Academics and works.
Okay. So is everyone, right? Hello? Your voice is someone else. My screen share has been disabled. Could somebody? Hello? Is someone there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sir. Yeah, sir. They are enabling
Yeah.
it. So,
Yeah. Okay. So is the name Xeon inspired by Matrix movie?
no, sir. I was like I thought as Ion. I know
Okay.
Ion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I already Ion is there, so I
Okay.
kept Z in front of it. Xeon.
Okay. So Xeon is the last place for human selection in the movie Matrix. So all these people who wakes up from that this thing, right? Programming.
Yeah,
It
sir.
has got a lot, lot of meaning to that. So is my credential enabled? Yes. Right. How much time do we have? 22 minutes. Right. So nutrition for teenagers. This is the topic for us today. And the topic outline for us are what are the challenges usually teenagers face in general and in relation to food and myths around certain foods and what exactly is balanced diet and how to take it and what are the health challenges especially in this age particular to the teenagers and how to reach that smart nutrition or smart diet phase. So instead of conventional practices, going for counting the calories and all. So is there something smart that you can do with diet also to achieve better results? So basically, I divided the whole topic into these 5 categories, and then we'll have open session. Because as I said, I want my lectures to be more interactive in nature than one-way traffic. So this is a brief about me, and Raghav said so many things apart from this. So thank you, Raghav, once again. So this is one of the powerful quotes by Charles Darwin. So it's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. So what do you mean by change? See, pandemic completely changed our environment and the way we function, right? And we need to adapt. And how do we adapt? And it is a kind of blessing in disguise. So all the students coming together, and you don't have to travel, and you can connect virtually, and you can share ideas, you have come together. So that is adaptation, isn't it? So if a, a species, a person is able to adapt to the changes, okay, so that species is the strongest, that can only survive, whether it is business or whether it is personal life, professional life, everything. So why I started with this is, um, our lifestyle has been changing over a period of time, okay, and but our eating style is not at all changing. How our parents used to eat, we are also eating the same way, and how their parents, our parents, uh, uh, our parents used to eat, our parents had their food in the same way. And the result is, if you look at our country as a whole, I always say this in all my engineering colleges. I mean, I feel jealous of you people because you made India top in certain areas. You look at aerospace, or I mean, our space missions, and even IT. So there are so many things that engineers are able to achieve. But when we look at the doctors and healthcare professionals, what we made our country into, you look at the sheer numbers of sick people in India, it is almost like one of the sickest nations in the whole world. Okay. The reason being, the reason being, we all think it is not just the fault of doctors or dietitians or healthcare system as such. So I don't know. I mean, because all of you are on not on video cams, and I cannot see. I am talking to a cam. I don't see your reaction. But ask yourself, how many of you been to a barber or a beautician in your life? Almost everyone, right? And ask yourself this another question: how many of you been to a dietitian to check what kind of food you are eating? None of us, right? Even after completing my MBBS, and since I started this organization with my wife, then my used to be my boss in 2004, I never been to a dietitian. I never felt the need to go to a dietitian to ask about the health. So the sum total of this lack of adaptation to changes around us is what made our country, um, what do you say, one of the sickest nations. I mean, we have the largest population of diabetics, largest population of osteoarthritis, and largest population of hypertensives. So unless and otherwise, we change to the environment, we make changes to ourselves according to the changes in the environment, we also end up. I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised. I mean, these youngsters, they want to know about nutrition, they are concerned about health. I mean, I felt really good. I mean, it felt really nice. So once again, I congratulate the whole team of Xeon Talks for organizing this talk. Okay, as I said, the challenges of teenage, I broadly divided in two categories. How many of you agree with me on this? Right? Can I see raise of hands? Most of you are away from home, and most of you are facing the peer pressure. Yes, right? So what happens is, I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of stream you are in, but one of the biggest challenges for students, especially in your age, is you have to move away from your home, and that means you are not eating from your home, and you have to eat outside or from the hostel or somewhere else. And the second challenge is the way our nutrition is being defined by is simply by peer pressure. We have to see, look at this emoji. So at this age, people are quite sensitive. So they are sensitive about their looks, their appearance, their accent, their background, everything. So they want to fit in. In that, what you say, pressure, they succumb to certain things which they are not used to. Okay, so these two things are actually designing or programming the way we approach our food. So away from home is, I mean, a non-explainer. It simply says that, okay, whosoever is cooking food for you, you have to, what you say, customize it to your own needs and tastes. So these two things are the biggest challenges. So coupled with this challenge, the next thing is there are so many myths floating around, right? So if we combine these two, first of all, you're away from home, you're under peer pressure. On top of that, we don't have enough knowledge, okay, about nutrition. So I'm going to ask you one simple question, right? So you have palm oil, groundnut oil, sunflower oil, and olive oil, okay? Palm oil, groundnut oil, sunflower oil, and olive oil. Which oil contains zero cholesterol or less cholesterol? You can type in your answer in the chat box because I am unable to see your face. Hmm? Type it. Which oil? You don't have to. You don't have to type the full oil. Okay, Manju, Shruti, Gokavarapu. Good. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Only two answers. I could see only two answers so far. Okay. Monica Garg. Kapil and Manju, you should stay away from answering this. You're dietitians. These are, I'm asking students. Okay. So most of you, I mean, this is not an exam. Jahnavi, this poll is not for you. Okay. You are a guest here. Let the students answer. Okay. Fine. Most of us assume that olive oil is free of cholesterol. Okay. I'll come to the answer later. Now, another question, right? Uh, Cashew nut, groundnut, what else? Almond and walnut. Cashew nut, groundnut, almond, and walnut. Out of these four, which contains high cholesterol? Only one question, don't worry. Yeah, quickly. I mean, we don't have much time. I got only 13 minutes left for the Q&A. Cashews, Asha Deepti, thank you. Right. Right. Most of us assume that olive oil contains zero or less cholesterol, and most of us assume that cashew contains more cholesterol and it is harmful. But the fact is, even after completing MBBS, even I was of the same opinion. Okay, this is not to find fault with your observations or knowledge or anything, but this is the fact with 99.9999999% of the population in our country. That 0.00001% knows the correct answer. Those are called dietitians, and people confuse beauticians with dietitians, right? They go to beauticians thinking that they are the dietitians. Right. So any plant product is devoid of cholesterol. Cholesterol is different, fat is different. So this is basic. So likewise, we all carry so many myths. First one is eat less to lose weight, which is a total myth. Okay. In fact, one should eat more to lose weight, right? But how to eat more? What kind of food we are eating? If you are eating balanced diet, no matter how much you eat, you cannot put on weight. So those people who are weight conscious and those who are a bit overweight or obese, so they avoid taking lunch, or they skip lunch and they have something in the canteen for the lunch, and they think that assuming that that will help them lose weight. In fact, it can be yes, Raghava. Hello.
The category what you're telling now, I'm the one of the person in it.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for so forthcoming. Okay, so eating less and losing weight are not no way concerned, right? It is not only calories. It is never about calories. It's all about balance, about nutrients. Okay, so if somebody is asking you to to cut down your food, to lose weight, remember they are not called dietitians. They are not called. No dietitian who is a qualified one will ask you to cut down on your food. Okay, you continue to eat the same quantity. You will never feel hungry. You will never feel like weak, and you never lose the sheen on your skin. In fact, your skin and face starts glowing. Okay, if you are eating balanced diet. And the second myth most people carry: an apple a day keeps the doctor away. I don't know who brought this and who listened to whom while saying this, and we blindly follow this in India. Okay, so fruits and vegetables are important part of our meal. Okay, so without fruit, no meal is complete, whether it is breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Right? We Indians, when do we eat fruits? During Ganesh Chaturthi, right? We buy fruits on that day and try to offer it to God. Since the God is not eating, we are forced to eat them. Otherwise, fruit is never part of our food, right? In most of the cases, 80 to 85% of the population, they don't eat fruit on a regular basis. But when it comes to fruit, if somebody says that you have to start eating fruits, everybody goes for an apple. Okay, so here try to use the common sense, right? What do I mean by common sense? Do you have apple orchards in Bhimavaram, Gunturu, Vijayawada, and Hyderabad? No, they don't grow over here. See, if they are not growing in a place where you are living, it is not meant for you, right? Because nature is extremely intelligent. The environment around us is extremely intelligent. Let me give you an example. Where do you see these coconut trees grow abundantly? On seashore. Why? The seashore cities, if you go to Vizag or Mumbai or Chennai, the humidity is so high that you keep sweating and losing all the water and salts from your body. So nature decided to put this sterilized water and add all the minerals into it, put them in a beautiful fruit, put them on the tree and planted along the shore. So people living in high humid conditions, they are supposed to drink coconuts. But we West Godavari people are very smart people. We cut down all the, I mean, we pick up all the coconuts, put them in a lorry, bring it to Hyderabad. From here, we buy Coca-Cola and take home and drink. That is the smartness the people have. So another example, for example, to talk about is this dates. Where do you see these palm trees grow? These palm trees you see in deserts. Why in deserts you don't have roads or highways and Punjabi dhabas on either side to eat your food, to take a break? You have to carry your food. That means your food has to be should not require cooking. That means you don't have to carry a gas cylinder on your camel's back. It should not require storage provision. That means you don't have to put on your camel's head a refrigerator. And small quantity, even after eating small quantity, it should be giving a lot of energy. Even if the food gets dried, it should be edible. Where do you find all these qualities? In which food? It dates, right? So it makes sense for people living in deserts to eat dates. And what we should be eating? What kind of fruits we should be eating? Fruits that are grown locally and seasonally. So the best way and the best place to buy the fruit is in a fruit market, local fruit vendors. Don't go to these mortuaries called supermarket. Okay, so why am I calling supermarket as mortuaries? uh, how does it feel to be inside a mortuary? It is a cold box, right? What do you keep in a cold box? Something which is dead. Okay, if something is fresh, what is the point in keeping it in a cold box, right? So these vendors, these local vendors, local farmers, and whatever fruits are available locally, try to eat them. And the thumb rule for buying fruits is the cheapest fruit available in the market, in your place, in your town, in your city is the best fruit to eat. So always go to the fruit market and look for the cheapest fruit available. Okay, so you don't need Kashmir apples in Hyderabad or Vijayawada or Nillur. So you don't need California apples anywhere in the country. Let people in California have their apples. We don't need them. You don't have to spend that much of money either on olive oil. Did anybody see an olive tree in AP Telangana or at least in southern part of where we are living, India? No, they don't grow over here, right? Then why do we need olive oil? That is called propaganda. Okay, so olive oil is good, and olive oil companies they market, and there is nobody to market our local oils or local fruits. Did you see an ad for a banana? No, right? But we see or a guava for that matter. So these days everybody is drinking green tea. Why we are drinking green tea? Because Kareena Kapoor comes on TV and says Andar se Sundar. So everybody thinks that, I mean, even if we don't become like Kareena, even 10%, 20% of that will do. Because she's coming on TV and we blindly follow. That is called propaganda. As students, you need to understand the difference between education and a propaganda. Propaganda requires you not to use your mind. Okay, but education requires attention, right? Retention and repetition. So it takes a lot of energy for the brain. So propaganda, it doesn't need anything. Okay, so why are we drinking green tea? We think that it contains antioxidant, but as science students try to define antioxidant, something that prevents oxidation. So what is oxidation? Rusting process is called oxidation. Rusting process is inbuilt into our system. It is part of our bodily process. If it is accelerated, we become old quickly. To prevent that, to prevent the oxidation of our skin so that it won't get wrinkled, we need antioxidants. Do you know what is the richest source of antioxidant? Guava is one of the richest sources of antioxidant. So you compare one guava fruit and with one glass of green tea. So the same quantity of antioxidants that are there in a guava, you want to have it by drinking green tea. You need to drink only one bucket full of green tea. That's it. Are you guys able to follow me? Am I going too fast? Is it clear? Everyone? Hello?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Yeah. Okay. Give me some kind of feedback. I mean, type something or say something. I don't know who am I talking to. Is it getting bored? Or yeah. Okay. So this is another kind of myth. And third one is rice is fattening. So many people nowadays they stop eating rice and they think that eating chapati or pulka or paratha is fine. What is paratha made up of? In South India, especially in AP and Telangana, parathas are not made with, I mean, they're completely made with maida. That is refined flour. Okay, so rice is not fattening. The way we eat rice. So if we Telugu people and most of the South Indians, how do we eat our rice? If there is a plate like this, there will be a small hill, like our Tirupati hill. There will be a small hill of white rice. So that's how we are eating. Do we require that much of rice? Yes, we require that much of rice because we are eating polished rice. Because it will not give you satiety. We have to eat unpolished rice. If rice is bad, nature would not have produced rice at all. And if wheat is good, why are we not able to grow wheat over here in South India? Why it is grown in only Gangetic plains and Sindhu plains in Punjab, Haryana, and UP, Bengal? Not even Bengal, up to UP, right? Again, UP, Bengal climate is different. They eat lot of rice, and Kerala people they eat lot of rice, and their rice is healthy. Okay, so rice is not fattening. You only polish it rice and high quantities of rice because it is not giving you satiety. That is wrong. And obesity runs in families. I mean, I speak to so many students and they say my father is obese, my mother is obese, my grandmother is obese, my mama, my atta, all of them are obese, so I am obese. So they don't want to take responsibility for themselves. right? So the same thing, they don't say that, okay, my grandmother is father is not that much rich, I want to remain poor, but your father worked like anything and he made you rich. So we absolve ourselves from responsibility. We run away from our responsibility. Obesity has got nothing to do with your father's jeans or t-shirts. Okay, so it is simply avoidance, not able to take responsibility, right? Your genetic code is perfectly designed system to make you healthy, no matter where you are in the complete health spectrum. And we have some silly things like curd causes cold. Okay, in fact, curd is so rich in vitamins and minerals. Okay, you don't have to give anything for a newborn baby up to the age of 2 years, provided the baby is getting enough milk from her mother. Okay, so that that is why milk is called complete food. So then now there are so many myths floating around. Okay, curd will never cause you cold. Okay, it is your mindset. We'll come to that when we talk about smart mind. And colas are cool, right? आज कुछ तूफानी करेंगे. So Mahesh Babu will come on TV and आज कुछ तूफानी करेंगे. I don't know how drinking a cola will you create tufani. Okay, tell me one health fact. I mean, one nutrient that you will get by drinking a cola. Why are we drinking then? So I don't see this as education. Okay, so education is top. I mean, you could be literate, right? You could be learning some subjects, but I don't consider that as an education, right? So we don't drink coconut water, we don't drink buttermilk, but we are happy and we feel cool about having these colas, that to diet cokes and zero calorie whatnot. So again, the same thing. Somebody comes with sapola oil and with a heart symbol on that, 0 calorie, and look at how these guys are making us fools, right? And we pay a lot of premium for that. That means we are investing a lot since our childhood in our diseases, right? These myths, they do play a lot. So, and coming to the health challenges part, what are the common health challenges that the students see in this age is coming to weight and immunity issues. Either people are underweight, overweight, or obese, and even if they are fit, they don't have enough fitness, and they're frequently prone to cold or running nose or some kind of fever, something or other, except from people who are coming from villages and they have this strong what do you say, strong genes from farm work and all. Most of the kids, those come from even from small towns, they don't have enough fitness. I mean, almost 10 years back, I did a study in one of the top schools, richest schools in Hyderabad. uh, Ninth, 10, no, 10th, plus one and plus two, almost like 250 girls. So one of the tasks for them is to do 3 minutes of skipping. So out of 250 girls, 6 girls could do the total 3 minutes, and less than 10% of them not even able to do it for 30, uh, yeah, 30 seconds. Okay, that is the state of fitness. How many of you can run? If I ask you, if I challenge you to run with me, because I am a half marathoner. I mean, I did participate in Amaravati half marathon also, and on top of that, I'm a barefoot runner. If I challenge you to come with me and run for 10 kilometers, how many of you can run 10 kilometers right now? Okay, challenge yourself. The level of fitness one has. So even you are not even 20. How long can you walk? How long can you run? So that is important. So this is like one of the important thing that I observed. And hormonal imbalance is very high, especially PCOD, hypothyroidism, and in boys who are overweight and obese, they have this gynecomastia problem also, increased breast in boys. And Finally, this is a chronic issue, especially with hostelers and people uh, who are staying outside from their family. So bloating, indigestion, abdominal pain, acidity, gas, and constipation are issues. You should not neglect any one of them. Okay, just taking a pill is not going to solve your problem. Okay, you have to go deep into the problem and try to understand it. So anything that is any imbalance that is caused inside our body is because of uh, the kind of food we are eating. So how to take balanced diet, right? So there are so many videos that are available with balanced diet. I don't want to stress much on that, but remember that there are 6 types of foods. So fats and oils, we don't as such take them, but we either use them along with our food or to prepare food. For example, if you take ghee is not bad at all. Okay, but the ghee in sweets is different. The ghee you have with hot rice is different, or hot chapati is different. So that will create satiety, and this will create weight. So these two, how you use your ghee also makes a lot of difference. So what are all the 5 types of foods that we are supposed to take? Cereals and millets. Cereals and millets means, cereals means rice and wheat. Okay, we don't require wheat over here. And millets, ragi, jowar, bajra, all of them, they are called millets. So this should be there in our plate, and by default we all have cereal. But fruits and vegetables. So when I say vegetable, why we need to take vegetables and fruits? When we discussed antioxidants, antioxidant is property of a substance. It is not a substance as such. So that means, what substances have that property? These vitamins and minerals have this antioxidant property. Where do you get these vitamins and minerals from? Fruits and vegetables. That means if you want to protect your body from rusting, okay, then you need to take more fruits and vegetables. But how do we like our vegetable? When you take bindi or lady's finger, you want it to be fried. Even carrot fry, aloo fry, everything fried. As science students, I mean, you don't have to be an engineer or a chemist to understand this. 10th class physics or chemistry is sufficient to understand that when you subject anything to intense heat, what happens? It gets denatured. So the same thing happens with vegetables. So it doesn't and it is pointless whether you eat vegetables in the form of, I mean, if you are eating vegetables in the form of fry, it doesn't matter even if you don't eat it, because you are not getting anything except oil from that. Okay, so at least try to inculcate the habit of having raw vegetables in your diet, at least 1 or 2 fruits in a day, and 2 to 3 slices of raw vegetables in your meal. And milk and milk products, there is a lot of debate that is going on whether to take milk or not. Not, but I strongly advise people to consume milk. Okay, our, don't compare our milk industry or our dairy industry with that of West, right? In West, it is totally gone. I mean, there is no way that you can salvage it. But don't compare the Western standard dairy industry with Indian. At least still in India, the dairy, the milk that we are getting is not adulterated to that extent. Okay, so probably the in cities the problem is more, but in small towns and villages, if you are getting good quality milk, try to have milk. Milk means milk, buttermilk, curd, anything is fine, but at least you need to have 300 ml to 500 ml. That is minimum. You need 2 to 3 servings of milk. That means 750 ml per person per day, not a week or a month. Okay, so at least 300 ml to 500 ml of milk, half a liter of milk in any form, whether it is tea, coffee, what do you say, buttermilk, curd, milk as such, that's good. And coming to the protein group, all the dals, non-veg food, eggs, nuts, all of them, they come under this thing. So in your plate, if you could see or identify all these 5 food groups, then only it is considered balanced diet. Okay, and this is what I would like to talk about, the most important thing. So you being students, you need to come up with strategies on having food in a healthier way. So what do I mean by smart diet? Given these two utensils, which one do you use to cut a tree? Right? Obviously, the chainsaw. So why it is sophisticated, right? It works smart. It takes less efficient energy. So when I say smart, what do I mean by this? So this guy is very happy, joyful, okay, fun loving, and this guy is totally depressed, always in a, in his blues. So if, I mean, both are same height, same weight, same age, and if we give them the same quantity of food, right? Who do you think will digest the food completely and get all the nourishment from that particular food? Who will process the food better, happy or sad? Last question, we are concluding it. Happy or sad? Happy,
Happy, sir.
happy. Okay. So, but the food is same, right? The calories in both the plate, the food is same. So, how come, what is this? How come the food uh, behave in different people in different ways? Because it is not the food alone. The person who is taking the food is also equally important. So this is called the bhava of taking food. This is called mindful eating. When you pay attention to whatever food you are eating, when you put your mind into what you are eating, and you are taking it in right spirit with gratitude. We don't know. We are sitting in our plate. We think that just by paying few rupees, now we have right for that food. But look at the people who are involved in making the food in your plate a reality, starting from farmer, the laborers, the mills, the all the people who are working, the traders, right? So the person who cooks the food and who serves you the food, everyone is important. If we start feeling grateful, so how do you feel inside when you offer a prayer, thank you? Do you feel good or bad? Good. When you feel good, does your body become lighter or heavier? Lighter. When you are feeling lighter, joyful, right? So will it create health or disease? Obviously health, right? So the way we eat our food, because whether we do meditation or not, yoga or not, exercise or not, we do eat at least 3 times. Some people they eat 4 times. I mean, because they take snacks, right? 4 times into 365 days. So those many opportunities we do have to make ourselves healthy, right? You don't have to run every day to gym and do all the activities. Make your diet smart. Okay, how much of fruits, by taking how much of fruits and vegetables I can cut down on unnecessary calories. So if you can plan like that, then you'll be eating smart. So before I open the session for discussion, my sincere request to all of you is, okay, uh, whether you have but dress for your next birthday, or whether you're giving party to your next birthday or not, okay, promise yourself only one thing, that at least once in a year or twice in a year I go and see a dietitian. That is the least thing that you can do to one of the most ingenious, sophisticated system. Don't want to call human body as a machine. Sophisticated system that has ever existed in this entire universe. Okay, do that, and your dietitian will do all the things for you, right? You don't have to Google it, waste time and waste resources. Don't. Your body is not a laboratory where you can go on trial and error. Just talk to them 1 hour in a year, or 2 hours in a year. That's what all it takes, right? They'll guide you in a right path. Okay, so with that, thank you very much for the opportunity, and I open the session for discussion. Hello. I'm done with my session. Somebody there?
Yes, sir. Guys,
Yeah.
feel free to ask if any
Hi,
queries.
good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. Nice
Good evening.
session.
Thank you.
When is a good time to take carbohydrates? I mean, like what I mean to tell this. Someone I heard from one of yours. It's not good to take carbohydrates in the evening time after 6 o'clock. Is that good enough?
Mhm.
Just I want to get a suggestion, please. This is Kishore.
Okay. Where are you from, Kishore?
I'm from Vizag.
Where is that?
Yep.
So anything, not only carbohydrate, anything you take after 6, right, is not going to be processed properly.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So don't
Yes.
blame either curd or dal or carbohydrate.
Okay. Anything after 6, but it's not happening in this. Actually, I
It's
finished my
not
master.
happening. I mean, it is a necessary evil given our lifestyle these days. But what
Yeah. Yeah.
what I am trying to imply by my answer is,
Okay.
try to eat as early as possible. Nowadays, it has become more fashionable for people to eat late. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
The more
So
late
like.
you eat, the more cool you look. But unfortunately, you are putting your
Mhm.
system under pressure, and
In
you're
trouble, yes.
inviting trouble. That's it.
Yes, but it's not happening in the sense like it's not compulsion to take at 6 o'clock. Like in this life, like I'm an IT
Yeah,
employee
6 to
actually.
7, 7, 7,
Yeah,
7:30, something
7.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 7 should be ideal. Yeah.
Is that intake should be at particular time all the time, like
No, no,
in the
no.
lunch at particular time, dinner at particular time, anything
No, no,
like
no,
that, please?
no. Nothing
No,
like that. Nothing like that.
nothing like that.
It is
Okay.
totally customizable. Only as long as you give the required nourishment to your body.
Energy. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So the body will take care of itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
What my
Right.
doubt is like at particular time,
Hmm.
if it is
No, no,
like
no. The
for
timing is not. I mean, see,
timing
I
is not.
worked with so many people who in Hyderabad
Uh-huh.
who used to work in night shifts. So
Yep.
should I
Yes. Yes.
advise them not to eat at all? So we have
No,
to
no, that's
customize.
what I mean. Like, yeah, you
Yeah,
had to customize it. Yes,
we have to
yes.
customize.
Thanks for your time. Thank you.
So next question, those who switch on their cam only, I'll answer. Otherwise, we are done with the session. Because I never did a webinar like this without seeing a single face. Harsh, at least come on here. Yeah.
I think there should be a question about the daily food they can have. Like teenagers, most teenagers are living in hostels, so
Hmm.
they do not get enough of. I think balanced meal they do not get.
Yeah, that
So
is the
what could
reason
be
why
the
I spent time on importance of fruits and vegetables, the myths part. So when
yes,
I discussed about the apples and that cutting down on calories, not eating proper meals and all, so I gave that context only to emphasize that particular point. So at least
yeah.
two to
So
three.
what could be the possible? So what could be the possible options for the hostel kids that they can get balanced meal? Like if I say ki the dal which they get in hostel is so diluted,
Hmm.
they do
No,
not get.
see, you cannot dictate terms to most of the hostels, whatever they give. But when you go out and have an ice cream or a pani puri or a pizza or a burger, right? You have an option of buying a fruit or a carrot, something like that, right? So
Yes, yes, yes.
the moment they understand, I mean, you cannot give a blanket advice to varied set of students who are living under different conditions. So that's what I
Yes.
mean to say. Yeah. I'm not asking you to, I mean, ask the questions. Let students ask. Yeah, I think we still got 5 more minutes. Any other questions? At least give your feedback. I mean, how was the session? You are able to get something? Or
Sir,
Yeah.
actually, there will be few families like they'll be eating such some kinds of food in some seasons, and like, I mean, in summer they'll be eating some sorts of food, and in winter
Mm-hmm.
they'll be eating other sorts of food according to the weather and their body conditions. But I have some friend like her father says that we need to eat all kinds of food every time, and our body will be adjusting to it. You don't need to be picky eater about all those things. You need to eat what I suggest you. They'll be eating anything or everything, irrespective of the day or the time of the day or any season. Like that. Is that good or being picky eaters, like eating according to the season?
See, the same thing. If you train your mind in such a way that these foods go well with me in these seasons, right? Even the God cannot change it. Only the person has to change that, right? So what her father is saying is also true. Okay, but again, it should not be completely going away from the nature. For example, for everything there is a season. There are certain foods available in only certain seasons. So,
Yes.
and people are used to, their body is used to that particular thing. So, you cannot ask people to eat mango throughout the year, and it is not available also. So, same thing, similarly. So, our body can adapt. I mean, that particular part I agree. But in some people, they make up these limiting beliefs that my body cannot digest this kind of food, and in this particular season, it will not go. So they already programmed. Accordingly, the body will respond. So it has to be an individual. It has to be customized according to the person. His father is only half right. I mean, her father or his father is only half right.
Actually, as the age increases, like some people can get a, some people will be like they can eat anything or everything, but few people can't eat veg.
Hmm.
So, what I wanted to ask is that okay that if that particular person can't eat such foods in such seasons, is that
Hmm.
just because of their brain can't adapt to that situation, such foods?
Exactly. I mean, we have this saying, right? Ask and it is given, yadbhavam tadbhavati. So if you make up your mind, so the body responds.
And is there something like we can do to change them or ask them to eat those things and tell them that it's all
See,
because of the
if your mind is not prepared to accept, okay, for that particular change, so you can advise them, but they are not willing to change their mindset or thought process. Then what is the point? Their body will definitely refuse.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, organizers.
So this is Neelam. I have a question on behalf of my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She is very prone to drinking coffee. Whenever
Mm-hmm.
she's sitting for her studies, she prefer to drink a cup of coffee. So if she's sitting for like 5-6 hours, then she can have 3 to 4 cups of coffee,
Mm-hmm.
which I guess is happening with every teenager. So how much coffee should be given to a teenager who's so addicted to coffee or tea just to stay awake?
And I always wonder because even in medical college, I don't know how people can focus more than 4 hours in a day. Okay, if somebody is sitting there for hours together to study, I think nothing goes inside. So to stimulate their mind, maybe they are depending upon the caffeine or something like that. So one thing is, coffee is not that much addictive and that harmful. But how old is she?
So she'll be turning 15.
Oh my goodness. So I never studied for more than 1 hour when I was in my 10th standard. So
So
even
they
in
have to
medicine,
sit for throughout the night to complete the homework, to complete the assignments that they have to submit.
okay. Doing assignments is different. I mean, if you're learning something new, so the mind cannot process new information for more than doing revision is different. Okay, revision you can sit for hours together, but you are learning something new. Your mind can take up only data maximum of 4 hours. Beyond that, the mind goes haywire. Okay, so I mean there is nothing. Usually, what we say is 2 to 3 cups. 2 to 3 cups means like medium-sized cup. So that should be uh, within normal limits.
Also, her friends are so prone to eating chewing gums to
Chewing
recall
gums.
things. Yes. So addiction
Okay.
varies. I don't know. I mean, should we go for chewing gums or not? I don't know. But teenagers I've seen eating chewing gum like food.
Mm. Yeah, that's true. I mean, so it forms some kind of associative memory. So there are some studies, I mean, I don't know sponsored by whom, but when you're eating chewing gum, your brain becomes active because all the muscles are masseter and all this become active. So the more circulation to brain, I mean, that's how even coffee, what does caffeine do? It dilates the brain circulation, right? They got used to it. I mean, they think, I mean, they associate both these things, learning something and this particular high. Okay. So are we done? Rupa, Raghav, you there?
Guys, if you have any doubts, you can just ask now. We'll be waiting for 1 minute.
Sir, a small
Yeah.
doubt on my side.
Mhm.
In these robotic lives,
Hmm.
because I want to tell these lives are robotic lives.
Hmm.
Don't do it wrong way. You can
Hmm.
even you can understand why you use that word as robotic.
Hmm.
Being like we are the students, right? We are all
Hmm.
students.
Hmm.
We'll be stuck to the education from morning 9 to evening 9.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like what type of regular diet plan you can suggest us?
Regular diet plan. See, I told you there has to be 5 elements, right? So it could be anything. There has to be milk group. There has to be protein group. That means like dal, protein, dal, pulses, and non-veg or egg. That is one group. Milk and milk product is one group, and fruit is one group. Vegetable is one group, and this one is another group. Cereals. So all 5 should be there in your plate. Okay, just type in what you say balanced plate. Okay, you will see a picture, and there are like 100 types of plans we can give, but there is nothing like okay, this only this kind of diet one should be taking. So I stopped giving diet plans long back. So I leave it to the person. I give them the what you say framework. They can fill it with their favorite foods. That's how it works. Okay.
Yeah.
So in conclusion, I would like to thank the organizers. Uh, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, and all the best with your future ventures and aspirations. I wish the platform grows much bigger and you achieve all your dreams. And only one thing I would like to say in conclusion, there are close to 7.5 billion people in this entire world as of today. Okay, I'm asking this question to each and every one of you. Can you find a person who is of same height as you, same weight, color, and walks like you, talks like you, behaves like you? Can you find a replica of yours in this entire 750 crore population? Impossible. That means what? You are 1 in 750 crore. That means what? A designer piece. Never before, never after. Got it? So you are unique. Don't make your life average. Find out what is so unique to you. Don't copy, don't compare, don't demean yourself or don't degrade yourself by comparing to others. you can compare only with one person in the entire world, that is you, yourself. Okay, so how far and how better you can become compared to your yesterday's self, that should be the benchmark. Okay, I wish you all the best. I wish that you realize the true potential of your purpose in this life. You find your purpose, be yourself happy and make others happy. God bless you and thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, sir. At the last, I want not at the last, but I feel proud for handovering the session to Navya, the Chief Visionary Officer, to share her vote of thanks and conclude the session.
Thank you so much, Raghav, for giving me the control. I'm very, very, very thankful to Suresh Kumar sir. This is a wonderful, a great informative session that I asked my mom to come and join immediately in the meanwhile of the session. That was really wonderful and we learned a lot. And today's things are like weird. We don't know what to adopt and what not. And I hope this journey and this information will be spread by you, sir, long lasting, and because knowledge is to be shared. And such knowledge, sir, really needed to be shared because it's health. Health is wealth. Thank you so much, sir. And I heard so much about you telling about Xeon Talks, and I want you to say something for our growth and for our future. It will be very, very grateful for ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's a wonderful initiative.
It would be.
Yeah. Thank you so much for those kind words. I mean, it's a wonderful initiative. I thought this is organized by only one particular college and a group of students, but if you are able to bridge all the colleges together and come up with this innovative ideas, and I wish you all the success and you grow into greater heights.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
And I wish very, very all the best for all the attendees, and I request you to follow us and tweet us, like us, and do comments. And you can also mail us. You can ask for requests. You can suggest us. You can do whatever. But do follow Xeon Talks. Follow our sessions. Those will be very informative as today. And I request Sir Suresh Kumar sir to update your LinkedIn that you attended this session and you made this session happen for Xeon Talks, so that it will be a great pleasure for us and for the future of Xeon Talks to.
Yeah, definitely I'll do
for
that.
the attendees also to attend such informative sessions.
Yeah, sure. Definitely
Thank you
I'll
so
do
much,
that.
sir.
Thank you. All the best. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone.
Yeah. Bye, sir.